Okay, so today I sat down to work on getting the base contract finished. I attempted to use ChatGPT to write a simple contract, just integrating four core features, which was going to be an adjustable mint price, an adjustable supply, the fund distribution mechanism, and finally a recovery address. However, I was running into some difficulties even with ChatGPT, as it seems my storage has gotten filled. So given unfortunately I have not finished putting together the base contract, I'm going to essentially just go over what I have been able to work on, which for the most part has been testing some of our previous versions to figure out which one is the closest to what our end goal has been envisioned for. And then I'm going to be making notes just as far as which contracts do what successfully. So the goal is hopefully worst case scenario, if Chat GPT can't write it from scratch for us, we can take parts of each contract that we like and put it together for our final compiled version. So I'll go ahead and show the contract I've been working with up until now. So after reviewing a few of the different contract versions we've already played with, I found version 2 seems to integrate a lot of the features that we're looking to have towards our end goal contract. So the ability to mint, the ability to list the NFTs for a specific price, as well as me as the owner being able to deposit profits into the contract and distribute the funds to holders. Now, the main issue that I'm looking at here with this contract has to do with when people mint the NFT, because what's happening is they'll mint the NFT and the contract will collect the ETH, but it's not sending it to the owner address. Now, that's going to be important given we're going to be selling the NFTs to raise capital to buy a piece of real estate or to buy a business, or even for smaller projects, just to be able to raise up some startup capital. Given the fact we can't withdraw the Ethereum, I'm going to need to pull some of the code from another contract to be able to make sure the owner is getting automatic withdrawals. We'll play around with it. But essentially, I tested a few of the features with the V2 contract. So I had set the supply initially for one, the mint price at about 8 mil away. And then we've got the recovery address as our second VM environment. I wonder what VM stands for. Let's see. VM. I'm not sure. It's honestly not incredibly relevant. Let's see. Remix VM is a sandbox. So I guess it just means you know what? This is an educational YouTube. So what does VM stand for in Remix? Virtual machine. So I guess it meant something along the lines of sandbox, something that you can play with off the network. And that's pretty much what that means, virtual machine. It's just something that we can operate here locally. So anyways, going back to our smart contracts, we had all the parameters set to deploy and we were able to test this. So the first features we tested was initially minting. So we first minted with OX4B2. We were able to successfully mint and deposit 2 ETH from our owner contract, sending that to the NFT holder. Now, the next function that I tested was selling the NFT. So we used this address as our buyer and we had set a list price. It was something similar to the original mint price. I think I may have added a couple zeros, but we essentially had OX4B2 list the NFT and then we had OX787 buy the NFT. After the purchase successfully went through, we again used our owner wallet to attempt the fund distribution mechanism for 2 ETH, which appeared to work well. So everything seems to be working good there. I do want to test scalability, given that is going to be a core element, especially when we're looking at doing larger projects. So we're going to go ahead and increase the supply to, we'll do 3. We're going to select our owner address and we'll go ahead and increase the supply to 3. Looks successful. And let's just confirm. Yep. So currently we have been able to update the total mintable supply. So let's go ahead and mint a couple more NFTs. We'll go ahead and test, convert that away. Could you imagine if that was Ether? So, and then, so I noticed for this contract, I need to specify the address that we're minting to, which I haven't had to do before for previous contracts, but as long as everything is working how it's supposed to, I don't mind. I suppose it is just an extra step of security for minters to follow through with. So we'll go ahead, add the mint address, hit transact, and it looks like we're good. So we'll go ahead, paste the new address, and then we'll go ahead and transact. All right, so it looks like we're good to go here. We'll go ahead and double check. So we do have all 3 minted and ready to go. So currently the accounts are 787, 617, and 17F. So let's go ahead. We'll select the owner account and we're going to just test sending out 3 ETH. So if everything works how it should, this should send about 3 ETH to each of our holders. Now, like I mentioned, for whatever reason, the contract is just holding our mint price. I do need to edit that, but currently I have to wait a little bit for ChatGPT. So we're going to go ahead and work with what we got for now. Deposit profits. So we've got the 3 ETH now in the contract, and we'll go ahead and distribute those funds. So Now we just want to see essentially that each of the account numbers has moved up 1 ETH each, roughly, which looks like it did. It looks like we're successful in that aspect. Solid. All right, so now I think what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to grab this account and I'm going to sell the NFT to somebody who already owns an NFT. So we're going to have one wallet hold 2 NFTs, another wallet hold 1 NFTs, and we're just going to double check to confirm that when we distribute the funds, it is distributing based on the number of NFTs that each wallet holds. So let's figure out what NFT is held by this wallet. I believe it's the first. I'm pretty sure I can just call it. It's the first NFT. So that would be this one. So we're good. So we'll go ahead and list the NFT for sale. It's going to be token ID 1. We'll add a couple zeros and then actually we're going to add 1 0. So we'll go ahead and press transact. Looks like we were able to list. So this is pretty cool. So we can actually see now from calling the NFT listings, we can see who has listed an NFT and what they've listed it for. All right, good. So now we'll go and use 617. Funny. You know what? Now we ain't gonna use 617. We're gonna use you know what, we'll use it. 617, and then we're gonna go ahead and buy the NFT. So we're gonna go ahead and go for purchase 1, and then we have to make sure that this amount matches the price. All right. So we should be good to go here. Let's go ahead and purchase. Awesome. So it looks like it went through. Let's just double check now. We're gonna make sure that this is owned by the proper people. So I'm just bumping these up to make it a little bit easier to manage, but we're going to do token ID. So we now can see that 617 owns both token 1 and token 2. And then 3 is still owned by our original. All right, so we look solid from here. We're going to go ahead and attempt one last fund distribution. So we're going to go ahead and do 3 ETH. And notice this too, because the person who lists the NFT for sale, you guys can clearly see here, this did bump up. So it's directly sending the Ethereum from the person buying the NFT to the person selling the NFT. I just need to figure out why when somebody mints the NFT, it's not doing the same thing with the owner of the contract. So that'll just be some work for us to get finished. But it's looking good. I mean, it's looking like, for the most part, the majority of the features that we want included with this contract are here. So we'll go ahead and send out this Ethereum, deposit profits, and distribute funds. You guys can see here, 617 received 2 new Ethereum, and then 17 received another new Ethereum. So it looks like everything's running smooth on the fund distribution side. We're not dealing with any of the funkiness that we saw beforehand where it was sending different percentages based on the order of mint. So this is good. I know it's simple. I know people will probably want to have different types of percentages included for their fund distributing NFTs later on, like having different rarities. But we're wanting to just build the basics, and as we progress with Solidity, as we get better with writing these contracts, we can work to integrate those features and those details into later versions of our base contract. So I did also test the transfer owner, which seems to work good. The recovery address should be in here as well. Where is recovery address? Do I not have the ability to? Okay, I don't. So that's actually another thing. So making sure that we can change the recovery address is also something that we want to include. That's really strange though, because I've had that as a feature for almost every other contract that I have played with. That's okay. Our main goal was finding a contract that had the majority of our core functions. We do have that with this one. We will just need to pull some code from some of the other versions, but honestly, I think this is a good base to work with. So I'm going to call this for today. Just a recap, today, while we weren't able to finish the final version of our base contract, we were able to narrow down our options as far as which version of the contracts we previously played with to work with. We're going to be using version 2, just given that the fund distribution mechanism seems to work fine, both with the initial supply and an updated supply. It appears that we're able to properly mint. And while the Ethereum is stuck in the contract for the funds used to mint the NFT, we should be able to update the code so that it is sent directly to the owner of the contract. So that way, myself or anyone else using these contracts to raise capital for a project, they're able to access the Ethereum and convert it to USD. Along with the fund distribution and the mint mechanisms, this contract also seems to have the proper marketplace coding integrated with the contract itself. So that way, owners of NFTs can sell their NFTs and funds are automatically transferred from the buyer to the seller. So this all looks good. The sale of NFTs didn't mess with the fund distribution mechanism. The main things that I'm going to need to work on updating with this contract is going to be making sure that we can take the funds used to mint the NFTs out of the contract as the owner, as well as being able to update the recovery address. So that way it can be adjusted similar to the way the owner can be set and transferred to a new wallet as well. So that's where we're going to be leaving off for today. I'll be working on this contract and providing some updates on it tomorrow, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.